Right, cool. So I'll go over the Figma prototype again, if that's cool for you.
Yep.
Oh, you're already there. Gee. You know, but I'm going to share the screen so I know exactly what we are looking at. So again, while I was cleaning up the prototypes for the adding a group milestone to a release, I realized that the scope, at least that I was proposing, was a bit too large. So I want you to ignore this first page of creating a new release at the group level. That's something that I think I should open a new issue for. And I want to go back to this view. If you can follow me here, just the edit release view. So previously we talked about having some sort of what do you call that? Tab navigation, right, for it.
Yep.
And I think last time we had a sync. We mentioned let's put two checkbox, not checkboxes, form inputs that users can select group milestones and project milestones. But then I was looking again at how we do it at GitLab, and first thing I want to propose is to keep the same component, but then instead show all type of milestones in the same selector. The same way as it happens when you create an issue. So if you open here and you see X number of items, I think 20, I don't know. And when you search for both group milestones and project milestones. So that's the first thing. And also a small addition here, help text in case we think that's necessary so that people know that now they can select more things. I don't think that's really super necessary, but maybe it would be nice to give them an overview or at least a hint that, hey, you can now do this as well in this checkbox. Why do I keep saying checkbox? In this drop down. So my first question to you is that feasible? And what do you think of it? What are the constraints?
Yeah, I think that having a single drop down in this combo box that lists both group milestones and project milestones is definitely possible. I think that we can be kind of clever with how we prefix or like namespace each milestone, so that if a group milestone and a project milestone like share a name, we don't want those two names to collide. So it might be handy to like say like the name of the group / milestone and then like the name of the project / milestone, or possibly have a divider between the two and like show like project milestones on top or and like group milestones on bottom or vice versa. So we can do either of those. We can have like a namespace before the milestone name so that it's clear whether or not it's for a group or a project, or we can do a sort of divider and just have the groups in one section and the projects in another section.
Yeah, that's similar to what Nathan is doing for. I don't. I'm not sure if it's this exact component, but do you know which for which view Nathan is working on? Also updating this component. Then he's adding a counter and actual separators for like each milestone type, right?
Yeah, I know Nathan is working on something, but I'm blanking on what exactly it is at the moment.
I actually reviewed this merge request. Let me see if I can find this quickly. I think we can find. Is this one? I think it's this one. Yes. See, branches.
Yep.
So maybe we can.
Yeah, I think that
all this whole behavior once he's done.
I think that would work perfect for this case, and then we can have like we can say like projects at the top
Yeah.
and groups at the bottom, or the other way around.
Okay. So we can use the behavior Nathan is introducing here. One of the things that on my end that I'm still like, okay, I don't think this is the most exciting user interaction, especially that in this case, for example, I don't know, we can have dozens of thousands of branches and refs and everything's in this one drop-down component. But also, I think for it's a super valid MVC for us. Um, and but I wonder if we would be like a step two. If first we can do the same behavior as we do now with issues, and then once Nathan is, yeah, everything's working fine with this option with the separator, we introduce here as well. What do you think?
Um, I'm kind of just wondering if it's worth really separating it out, or if it's or if it would be. I kind of have a feeling that separator action that Nathan's working on will probably be ready soon, right? So do you, I mean, maybe it's worth just kind of planning just to use that right away, or do you think that having that iterative approach would be better?
Yeah, because my first thought is that the way we select milestones across the product will be different. So I'm just wondering the impact, the friction that we're going to introduce in this component. I agree that's this behavior of having a subheader, let's say, for the
Yeah.
milestone type. It's more polished, it's a bit more elegant. But I'm also like, okay, three or four, even more, because in the issues and merge requests you have on the sidebar, and that's going to be different. And I just want to make sure that we don't introduce that inconsistency
Yeah.
in releases.
Yeah.
But
I think that, yeah, I mean, I see your point. I think being more consistent and then kind of working our way to like slowly introducing a change is probably the way to go.
yeah. I think this is with the plan team. I'm gonna add a note here for myself to check with the designers. We can move forward. I want to move forward with this option, and then in the meantime, I can try to get more feedback, or at least to see if, I don't know, maybe the plan team is already planning something for this drop down,
Yeah.
and just get their input here. So I'm gonna put Mariana to validate the prototypes with the plan designers. This can introduce. Okay, got coolio. And then the next point is actually a couple of questions that I had around the interaction and maybe the function, the technicalities of this functionality. So just want to confirm that yes, if we have now both group and project milestones, users would be able to select multiple projects and multiple group milestones in this view. Because right now you can add more than one project milestone, or no milestone, or multiple.
Yep.
And if we want to do that with the group items, that that would be possible.
Yeah, it would definitely be possible. I'm curious to see how Nathan is actually setting that up in his component, because when we add all these values to this drop down and we hit that save changes button, we actually have to like make sure that the values for the project milestone goes to the project API, and the ones for the group milestone goes to the group API. And so, I mean, that's 100% possible. It's just not something that this component offers at the moment. And so I want to see how maybe Nathan is handling that with his update.
Okay. So I think I can still keep that as an acceptance criteria, right? And then I think we have enough time to validate that and get the answers from the agent.
Yeah, because right now this component kind of acts as just like one box of values that when you hit save, it just takes that box of values and sends it to a single API. So we
Yeah.
just have to split those values up essentially. And I mean, it's 100% feasible. It's just a matter of building it out.
Okay, cool. So next one, it's about overriding values. So in a way related to the previous point, this question here. So can we make sure that if a project milestone is selected, updating or selecting a group milestone won't override? So users should be able to select while selecting a group milestone. Let's say you have a pre-selection, you add another item, one doesn't override the other. These technicalities.
Yeah, yeah, that behavior should be possible. That's the behavior that I would kind of expect. That like if you select I think the only way that that a milestone should be removed after you've selected it is by clicking on that milestone again to deselect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one thing I've noticed now that it's missing that we should have like the check icon here.
Mm.
This was a screenshot, so maybe.
Well, it doesn't look like the milestone is currently selected in this. Kind of looks like it's like in a hover state.
Yeah.
So.
But I think the way we have implemented it, we have with the checks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely show a check.
So next one, it's actually, so the behavior stay as is. So here you see the name of the first one and then one more, or 2, 3, 4, whatever. How many items you have here. When you reopen, you see first the items that are selected on top, and then the next ones, same behavior, nothing changes. Another thing here is that since we are at the project level, and this is for the edit page, is not create release, everything is on the edit view. When the user selects create new or manage milestones, they are taken to the project milestone pages. So before, when I had two components, two selectors in a page, I was like, wait, they need to go here, they need to go there. So I think we should just leave everything at the project level, since we are still associating group releases to group milestones to project releases. So we keep this as is.
Okay.
And then the next one is actually on how you see this information, because I haven't prototyped that. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm missing something here. So now that you have your group milestone added, right, to this release, we're going to need to show it in this view. And also the counter of issues and the progress bar will need to be updated to reflect this the data for the group milestone. And we don't have that in the current MVC, but yeah, they need to see the result of it somewhere. And we haven't really discussed this. So my questions are really like, okay, I know this adds more effort to it. And if you foresee any friction here, any challenges for this proposal?
So just so I know how this component works currently, basically, if a milestone is closed, it gets marked as completed. Is that what happens currently? So, yeah, I think we can definitely extend this to basically check for the status of group and project milestones, and then just aggregate like the sum of all of them, and calculate that percentage of completion.
Yeah, because one of the problems that we have is that this is not applicable for now because of that bug in the filter section. So I think ideally in the future, once you have a total count of issues, let's say you have like GitLab, you have 2,000 issues. And we're also going to have merge requests here at some point. So all these counters, they need to reflect all the items, all the milestone items, go to group. But since a group milestone, let's say that you, like in GitLab, you have, I think now we use mostly project milestones at GitLab. So I don't think that's a great example. But let's say that your project milestone is inside a method. That is not my question. Sorry, Jake. I'm trying to visualize. I think my question is if these values could override, if a project milestone can be linked to a group milestone, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yeah, I see the case there. So like a group milestone is related to a project milestone, and what happens if like the project milestone, like if there's, can a group milestone have multiple project milestones within it? So what happens if like group milestone 1 contains project milestone 1 and project milestone 2? Project milestone 1 is closed, but not 2, and they're both here. Yeah, okay, I can kind of see the kind of like conflict of what happens here. I don't have an answer for that at the moment. I think that we might have to think about this a little bit more and try to come up with a solution.
Yeah, because especially it was for the issues as well. So let's say that you have a group milestone, and then you see all these issues that potentially are also added to the project milestone. I think we just need to make sure that the counter and then, you know, this complete goodness. End of the day, my brain is like the progress bar.
It's the end of the day for you and beginning of the day for me, so both of our brains are out of sync right now.
It's 5 p.m. somewhere in this case here. But anyways, just to make sure that the counters, they calculate what they're supposed to calculate.
Yeah.
So I think that's that should be an acceptance criteria in the issue.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we can probably find some sort of boring solution for this, but I don't want to try to come up with something right now and commit to it without thinking it through a little bit more.
No, don't worry. I'm just posing the questions because these were when I started looking at this and also looking at how the milestone page behaves. I'm like, wait a minute, this can become a bit more difficult than we expected. Because also when I look at the milestone page, I'm trying to show you something, but wait a minute, too many screens. Yeah, I'm gonna look at this is a project milestone page, right? You also have releases here, and ideally we should also introduce this behavior to the group milestone page where you can add your releases from here, etc. So I think there are a lot of pieces of the puzzle that are missing. I have some issues created for this, but my main concern is that, you know, we make sure that we keep the behavior a bit standardized for how users add and also see all these items here.
Yeah, and make sure we're counting everything the same way.
Because I think at some point you're going to need to link to the group page for this, you know, for the issues. The merge requests. I'm not sure if that's how it's done now.
I think it linked to the issue when it was on, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, because I think once you have issues, once you have a group milestone added to this, you're gonna have to see everything at the group level. So this will also need to change. Difficult to see now because we don't have the behavior working. But this, yeah, doesn't happen. And here, yeah, you click, you go to the group view, here you click to the project view of this milestone. And that's pretty much it. Nothing really changes with the rest of the page. Once we go and move these to the create release view, form is the same also.
Yeah, I think that the only thing with that that progress bar view, I guess, is like if you have, say there's like 3 milestones, so you have your group milestone 1 and then project milestone 1 and 2. I can definitely kind of see where it might seem a bit confusing if your group milestone is related to project milestone 1 and 2, and 1 is complete. So you have 3 milestones, but by completing 1, you're basically at 50% completion. Or do we just want to say like, do we just want to say that a completion is when a milestone is closed? So project milestone 1 would have to be closed, and then group milestone 1 would have to be closed, and if project milestone 2 is still open.
Yeah, it's different because the completion right now, it's when the issues are all closed. But when the issues are closed, I'm not sure if the milestone is automatically closed.
Okay.
You need to close the milestone manually. So if you look at, for example, I think we have one of the GitLab milestones open here. Anyways, let me just go to GitLab. Issues, milestones. I'm not sure exactly what the criteria. Yeah, see this one. It's one issue, 0% complete.
Yeah.
You can still be 100% and open. It doesn't really.
I see.
As long as the issues are all delivered, because the milestone really gives you this this time box view for what is planned versus accomplished within your release. So the milestone date, for example, can expire, like in this case, right? Or I don't know why we don't have any more the project milestones here. So they can expire, but they can still remain open. So I don't think that's the actual criteria.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to just base it by issue count. And I think that actually kind of simplifies things quite a bit. I think if we're just getting percent completion by issue count of the, I guess, of all the project milestones, right? Because I mean, what does I guess are there issues that are tied only to group milestones but not project milestones?
To project milestones as well. I have an example here. Wait, too many tabs. Here, my sandbox. Let's check the issues. Yeah, it's here.
Okay.
So I can associate with milestone.
I see. Okay. Okay. So I'm fairly certain that the answer is going to be somewhere along the lines of just keeping track of all of the issues and where they came from. But yeah, I think it's gonna be somewhere along those lines. I think it's gonna just require a little bit more thought and investigation.
No. But in general, for the end user in UI, I think nothing should change here. Maybe when we hover, because I think actually when you hover now, you see, closed issues. I'm not sure if we need to identify anything, from this point, that your milestones are project and group milestones, so that your issue counter is for everything.
Yeah, maybe that makes sense.
If you collect feedback, we can iterate on that. But yeah, closed issues, so it should be for everything.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you for clarifying that.
No problem. And I think that's it. You also enter any questions. So I'm going to iterate on that. And with this one, I'm going to use Nathan's proposal, just confirming what we discussed. Use Nathan's proposal in the issue description, assuming that that's going to be ready. But if it's there's, for some reason, there's a problem there, I think the fallback would be the same behavior as the milestone selector that we have right now in issues that shows something like this. So just the default. And I'll write everything that we discussed and update the acceptance criteria in the issue today. So we can revalidate it. And yeah, if you need reread, just let me know.
Sounds great.
Nice.